Peace and love, strength and honor, Samir Saif representing Ontario Top Team. Following up in the last series of videos of out of the shell defensive boxing. The last video I taught you the slip, and now I'm going to teach you the dip, the roll off, and the roll under. So picking up where we left off last time, I showed you how to 45-45 and slip. So now I'm going to make a square, and each corner has like a dot, and I want you to connect the top right corner to the bottom right corner. So I'm going to dip. I have a dip line on my left slip line here, and I just dip. I can dip a little bit forward, in the middle, or matrix it back, where I'm just level changing underneath a punch. I can go to the slip line on the right side, which means I'm working the left side of my imaginary square, and I have my shell where I can dip, taking it off the gloves and the forearms, shoulder. I can roll it off with my shoulder, and I'm on the dip line up and down where I'm dipping underneath, okay? Now I connect those two dip lines with a roll off. And the roll off is punches are coming in, and I kind of shrug it off with my shoulder as I connect to the other side. So I shrug it. I could be down here and I shrug off a punch, shrug it, and we call that rolling off. I could lean back and roll off, lean back, okay? That's the roll off. Connecting the dip and the roll off is the roll under. And you'll see why I have this contraption of ropes to show you the full roll under. So now I connect them. I start in that slip line, because remember, that's where I would start with my jab, and I dip. I could dip with my shell. I could roll off with my shell. I could come see what's going on. I could roll it off again. I'm in my 45. I could dip. I could roll off. I could cover. I could roll off. I could stay with hands low. Come all the way, and you must have seen boxers do that. Still chin tucked in, covering my ribs. And that's going one direction, and now I'll go in the other direction. And you can see as you get better at it, you'll tend to make it more 3D, more matrix. And when you feel you can shrug it off or roll it off, you'll dip, cover the body up. Usually when we come up, we try to get those hands back up so that we don't come up into something. That's just a general safety roll. You'll see the more advanced and experienced that you become, essentially you're not breaking the rules, you are making the rules. I want you to take that gold nugget home. And that is the roll under. Okay, and now we're gonna put it together with this, with the rope. So you can make this anywhere. So with here, I usually try to get the rope to my jaw line. So that's what I picture is the punch, right? And when you do the drill, the idea is to always get that punch line over your shoulder, okay? So now I'm in the left corner, left top corner with my slip. I've just slipped, and I'm gonna keep a shell on here. And because you know the footwork, you always step into the closest direction of the foot. So I roll off the punch, I dip, I step, I roll off the punch, and now I'm up here. And same thing, I'm in that slip line, I slip, I dip, I step in the direction, there's my 45-45, and I come back up. So essentially, I try to stay as close to the rope as possible. And I'm using my 45-45. I can stay in the shell. So if you're trying to figure out the footwork, watch the other videos and it'll make sense. Where you see I'm slipping on 45, we can go backwards. You can do it with no hands. And if you notice, it's always over my shoulder, and it's almost like I'm shaving my ear and I bend my knees. I'm gonna give it to you in a different angle. just so you can see it straight on. So you'll see I start in one slip line and I come underneath. I can use my shell, using that bend of the knee, stay real close. I can start to go 45. I can switch it up. I can matrix, moving, and then eventually I can add some angles and some movement. And that's the dip, roll off, and roll under. Peace and love, strength and honor. Samir Saif representing Ontario Top Team. Pow!